Welcome to the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast, bringing you the latest from the world of sports, DFS, and gambling. With over 5 years of hot takes and millions of downloads later, I guess he's been doing something right. Now, sit back and listen to one of the sharpest minds in the game. Here's your host, Dwayne Callender.
Hello, and welcome to the show, folks. We have been busy with March Madness, and, obviously, upsets have been happening. Kentucky getting bounced. I warned you guys, they played no defense, and it burned them even in the first round. You can't make this up. To Oakland, no less. But, we carry on with the madness that is the NCAA tournament. But today, we are going to kind of go through what, again, has been kind of the hot button topic in sports, Shohei Ohtani and the potential gambling scenario that is quickly emerging with this ever-evolving story between Shohei and his interpreter, Ipe, as to who was actually placing the bets. My dad wanted to talk about it, so we're going to get him on the line shortly. But realistically, there's a couple of things we got to address at the moment. Because I saw this come up before, and it does kind of play into a larger story in that we had essentially the Ohio Casino Commission banning player props on college sports based on a request from the NCAA. And this is following that, we also had J.B. Bickerstaff, the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, talk about his experiences. So, essentially, this is actually one of the craziest things I've heard on this, but I actually don't... Before I would have just said, this is ridiculous, but the allegations, and again, they can vet this with factual based evidence. According to Bickerstaff, the Cavs, mind you, are doing incredibly well this year, excelling even with Donovan Mitchell injured. They are second in the Eastern Conference as we speak. Second, not struggling to make the playoffs, second. Why is the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers getting death threats, you ask? He's been getting death threats because guys, random schmoes, are betting on player props for Cavaliers players and then sending him death threats and messaging his family over their bets not cashing. And I see these jokers all the time complaining on Twitter about bets that don't cash in. I got news for everyone listening. And this is not even a PSA. Because I'm not going to tell you go... I should tell you to go call 1-800-GAMBLER. But essentially, I know the folks listening to the show are responsible in their actions and they can manage themselves. But the folks that you may be able to spot doing this, if you have someone that is literally calling up an individual, threatening them, threatening college players over bets that they are making themselves with their own money. Listen, folks, when you throw your money out there on a bet, you own that. It's in the void now. Whether it hits or not is entirely up to the game itself. But threatening folks because your individual choice resulted in an outcome, like if you're banking on, being incredibly probable at hitting 100% of your bets, I'm sorry. You have delusions of grandeur that you are never going to achieve betting. Like, you should be enjoying yourself betting. There are professionals who can do this legally, but guess what? 98% of you are not good enough to do it long term. Even someone of myself, could I do it long term? Yeah. Is it entirely enjoyable having this grind out 24/7 betting the entire day? No, not really. Not for me. But the guys I know who do it, they can do it. But yeah, it's a job. You actually have to research this in detail. Like most of you are throwing these prop bets out there. If you're this worked up about your prop bets not hitting, I can pretty much guarantee you didn't do the work to properly vet if it was a good bet or not. I'm gonna say that with absolute certainty, because you wouldn't be acting that way if you took it like a professional, a true professional. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that. Like, realistically, you may know the friends who have issues with this. I can't be any clearer than that. But if it's getting to the stage where you're threatening people on whether you think it was a meaningless online jab or literally in Bickerstaff's case, people found his number and were calling him to give death threats. Like, you should be arrested for that. I think Ohio is actually looking into legislation on that as well. But folks were calling up Bickerstaff. They're calling up these college players. And so you ruin the experience for everybody else who's doing it the right way in the state of Ohio. Because obviously, this is not the majority of the public. But because you have some numerous instances of bad actors playing a role in this, yeah, even though it's only maybe like 5% or less of the gambling population in the state of Ohio doing it, it ruined it for everybody else. So it sucks for the state of Ohio. In the interim, that's the best resolution you can come up with. But I have a hard time arguing against it when essentially you got folks acting the fool and just try to, for lack of a better term, intimidate players. You got to do it for college sports because these are not professional athletes. They can't hire security. The college can't protect them necessarily. It's ludicrous that we actually had to get to this stage. That it came up this badly. It sucks for everybody involved, but like for those who are doing it, I hope they throw the book at you. Truth be told, whether it's the police or the FBI, there's no place for that. So, anywho, I'm going to get my dad on the call shortly, just because he wanted to talk through this Shohei situation. So, we'll be back after this commercial break. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. The Fantasy Throwdown Podcast will be right back after our sponsors pay the bills.
This episode of the Fantasy Throwdown Podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Folks, many of us spend our lives wishing we had more time. But what would you do if you had an extra hour to your day? Would you go for a run, read a book, maybe take a nap? What if I mentioned therapy as a way to recharge your social battery? Therapy can be a useful outlet in managing a plethora of triggers that can negatively impact our way of living without us truly understanding them if not explored further. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries to empower you to be the best version of yourself. BetterHelp is entirely online and designed to be convenient and flexible to suit your schedule. Learn to make time for what makes you happy with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/throwdown today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/throwdown.
Welcome back to the show. Hope you got your popcorn ready.
Callie, let's talk about this because this was a hell of a weekend for this to happen right before baseball kicks off. But we got to talk about it. It's going to throw a wrench into everything. But for those who are living under a rock this week, Shohei Ohtani, via his interpreter, is embroiled in a gambling scandal wherein Ohtani's handlers are alleging that his translator, Ippei, had embezzled millions from Shohei to pay for an off-site bookmaker in California. Now, I'm winking at the audience that Shohei unknowingly paid some of these debts, hence his handlers claiming theft because, quite frankly, it'd be one thing if this was like a couple grand. This is several $1 million missing that have been gone out to pay for gambling debts, that now the story is shifted that Shohei was merely trying to cover the debt of his interpreter, who is his friend. But I have a lot of friends. I don't think I have any friends I would pay several $1 million to a bookie for if they had a gambling problem. This is where the story gets further and further convoluted, because even then, the guy has been working with Ohtani on the Dodgers, even while they were alleging Ohtani knew about the gambling debt, and he was still having the guy around the clubhouse. So that's the story the Dodgers are trying to sell everyone. What say you?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Whether he gambled on baseball or he gambled on something else. But I think he either knew all the time or he's gambling too. Okay? Japanese, Chinese, gambling is a big thing for them. They don't view it as bad as we do.
I would say it's more of an American thing in terms of Puritan values of the ruination of society via gambling. I mean it's more of a Puritan thing than anything else. If we're going into historical context.
Yeah. So I think he gambles. I think he gambles. Look, let me tell you something. The biggest problem I have is not whether he gambled or not. It's the way Major League Baseball is just sweeping us under the map and don't worry about it. No, it's $4 million. This is a big gambling debt. You can't just shoot that away. And I'm having a real problem with the way they doing that. I don't mind you investigate, and even if you don't go as hard as I would like you to go, and you clear him, but to just no, it's nothing there, we're not going to do anything. You got to be kidding me. And I want to hear the writers and them the people who thinks that Bonds and Clemens shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, even though they did shit before, they did all their good work before they started taking steroids, to lengthen their careers, So I'm waiting to hear, if these people are going to be up in arms about it, because this is the face of baseball now. And just because you're saying that, well, I don't think there's nothing. You got to be kidding me. What do you mean there's nothing there? I mean, and to me, the more they try to shush it, the worse it looks. Because his handlers had 3 different stories and none sound good.
I mean, when your story basically borders on, he's just trying to help a brother out. That's literally what the story is. He's like, his buddy was in trouble, and he decided to help him.
That was the cover story for the story that they had before. It's ridiculous. I just, and let me tell you something. I want to see Ohtani playing baseball. I'm not talking about, you gotta ban him but you gotta investigate this and kind of look like it's serious. Just, because you want to corner the Japanese market. Come on, guys.
That's exactly what this is. It's okay. We still got Japan. It's okay. It's gonna work.
It's pissing me off. Like I say, it's not like I take him that, let's get him off the Dodgers so, the Yankees. I don't give a shit. Okay? Because I like to see him play.
The Yankees would lose this anyway, so.
No, please, give me a break with that. Yeah, I know anytime next week I'm going to hear Cole is having Tommy John. You know, so, but it's just ticking me off the way they're acting like, oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's not, you know. I mean, all you're doing is giving things to the Pete Rose people like, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, you know. Because, look, gambling is not a big deal now. And look, the reason I think you need to look at this is because, did you hear the story about Bernie Bickerstaff? Not Bernie, his son, the Cleveland
J.B. Bickerstaff. Yeah, the death threats that Bickerstaff has been receiving in the NBA. You know, I'm wondering, like, what is the NBA doing about that? Because the NBA has former FBI investigators. Like, if anything, they should be like tracking this out or at least contacting the authorities to trace the individuals, because you can't have folks just threatening people randomly, because you actually have to take that seriously. Wherein, you know, you got fans, you know, who knows what, like, cooked up idea in their head, think they're gonna, like, you know, try to harm someone's family because of a game. Like, you actually have to step in on that.
Well, don't forget the way everybody are being assholes now. You know, people think that they can, you know, like you have a bracket and you have your stuff there, and then you know, a coach decides that he's winning, he's gonna play somebody off the bench, and instead of winning by 10 points, they win by 8 or 7, and all of a sudden you're like, Dwayne screwed me. He screwed me. You know, my line was this. You got to be kidding me.
And truth be told, there are people on the internet who post that all the time.
Yes.
And you know, thankfully, those are not most like listeners of the show. We have rational people, because the degenerates I make fun of, because realistically, you're looking for everyone else to blame when you're playing your lines. Like, it is what it is. Like, the game pans out. Now, could you have someone stat padding and doing nonsense in the game? Yeah, but you know, in the course of the game, things will happen. But to act as though that there was a conspiracy, and there are people who think like this. People act as though there was a conspiracy against them, trying to stop them from, you know, winning their bet, and it's the dumbest thing imaginable. But these folks will actually believe their nonsense.
Yes, there's people out there who thinks, you know, like, the coach knows me. He's doing that for spite. You know, he just knows that the line was this, and he's for spite. He's gonna, you know. Please, you're not on people's mind. You know, but a lot of people, when you build these kind of shit up, this is one of the problems that we have in politics right now. That everybody, the truth is there, and people have alternative truths. You know, when that first came up, it sounded like the biggest joke you ever want to hear. But you know what? A lot of people is believing that there's an alternative truth.
Well, it actually came up. I mean, it was so much going on with March Madness, but it actually the argument, people got mad because Colin Cowherd was talking about the Ohtani situation, and he threw in a throwaway line about the election wasn't rigged, and people got up in arms saying, You see how he's in on it too? Like, Cowherd's in on it. And, like, basically, even if you're trying to say he was trying to make a political statement, no, I don't even think he was trying to make a political statement. People just missed the point he was making is there's no massive conspiracy theory. People are going to do dumb nonsense all the time when they get bored and they've got money. That was the point he was making. But like my issue with all of this going on with Ohtani is the fact that basically he was on the Angels doing nothing, losing games, bored out of his mind, and he got into this because, again, yeah, it's not as demonized in certain cultures as it is in a stateside here. And so, yeah, they were placing bets. Like, that's, to me, it's oftentimes, it's like Occam's razor. Oftentimes the most reasonable explanation is the simplest. It's essentially, he was bored. And you know who I blame for all this? I blame Bud Selig, because if he wasn't actually playing for, if Ohtani wasn't actually playing for the Angels for so long, for the dumbest amount of time, and not traded or forced out a trade,
or LA a while ago, yeah, it's my. When I say LA, I don't mean for the Angels. I mean the other part of LA that actually plays baseball.
Yeah, I mean the truth of the matter is that, you know, it's really, I think it's really straightforward. Ohtani, playing so many years of meaningless baseball, got caught up in it. Like, especially, you got to remember, the pandemic happened. Like, it's like the pandemic happened. Like, even Ohtani was still technically not actually home. He was still here. You know, people forget. Like, there was a lot of downtime with things going on. There were still stuff going on outside of the U.S. The U.S. just was slower to come back because of, you know, we won't get into certain things, but there were things going on. It's not that hard to put together a timeline where they started picking up more on this, from the pandemic on, and that it became a bigger thing as it got back, because, you know, you start getting into a routine. So it wouldn't shock me if this whole timeline stems back to the pandemic and that we got 4 years of data of them aggressively betting. If anything, the irony of all this is that this is essentially a Sopranos episode, because this happened on the Sopranos, and that Tony got mad at Christopher.
Yeah, but look, the thing about it is, what they are trying to sell you is that the interpreter is the one who got the gambling debts.
Of course.
And that what they try to say first is that he kind of embezzled the money from Ohtani to pay the debts. Now, you know, I don't know how you're getting away with that figure. I mean, when people are skimming money, a couple of $100,000 or something, you know, 10 grand or, you know, whatever. Not 4 million. I mean, come on, it's a
lot of work. It's a lot of work.
I don't know how you think you're gonna get this by somebody, you know, without them noticing.
Although, to be honest, it did happen. This actually did happen to the Jaguars not too long ago, where they did not notice $35 million missing because the guy was playing fantasy sports. I wish this guy was playing me in fantasy sports, because that would have been good money. You lost $35 million playing FanDuel. Man, whoo.
I mean, you know, but look, let me tell you something, and I don't want to be one who goes shout down that you know, gambling is bad and and you know, I'm not that. You know, I tell people, I don't gamble. I play a little lotto, one thing, I don't gamble. It's not for me. I don't, and anybody around me who's got, I tell them, look, just be careful, okay? Because gambling is designed for the house to win. The fact that the lotto is $1 billion and the other one is almost $1 billion with all those states playing shows you how hard it is to actually hit these things. Okay? But it is what it is. But some people like to do it. They like to play. I always say, try and play for fun. No, you want to win. But don't think that this is how you're going to make your living. Trust me. It's not going to work out. You know, so, and I always say, don't bet what you don't have. You know, don't be betting what you don't have. You know, you're coming from work Friday and you're going straight to the casino or whatever. That's not good. You know? So, you know, so that's me with gambling. But I wouldn't, it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, woe is you if you're gambling. No. You know.
To me, this it speaks more towards the genuine, and I mean this sincerely, the genuine lack of controls with the Angels, because realistically, it's not that, like, again, if you were like paying attention, it wouldn't necessarily be the craziest thing in the world to start being able to pick up on this. So to me, this speaks more towards the fact that I don't think anyone was really paying attention to what Ohtani had going on personally. I think everyone was just like kind of in their own thing.
Dwayne, if the Angels couldn't stay out of, and I can't even say last place, there were so many games behind, there wasn't even last place. There got to be something behind, right behind last. And that's where they were. With Ohtani and Mike Trout in a lineup. What the hell? Why would you think that they could be supervising somebody to check their lifestyle? Come on, Dwayne. Give me a break, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
What you kidding with the Angels you're talking about? I mean, you have two guys. And it's not like if you have two guys and you're saying, oh man, Trout is a boss, or Ohtani. Those guys are playing at top level. Okay? They're playing at top level. It's not like if, you know, they got paid a lot of money and they're not performing or whatever. Both of them are top level, and you can't even be relevant? I mean, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta work hard at being as bad as the Angels has been for the past 4 years. Come on. So why would you think they could be managing you know, players and their lifestyles or whatever? You know, Ohtani probably is so freaking bored between games and shit that he probably, you know, probably, because they haven't said, I don't remember anybody saying, they say gambling, but gambling what?
No, that's the thing. No one knows exactly what the concept was. If it's baseball, we all know he's cooked. But I have a feeling that
I don't think so. I don't feel it's baseball.
I think he was betting on all random types of sports going on because, again, you got all this money. This is what the NFL was suspending players for. Is like some folks were dumb enough to bet on NFL games, just not their team. But they were betting on NFL games as a whole. But there were other guys just betting on baseball, betting on like college football, things of that nature. And the NFL just put a kibosh on it. Just said, no, you're still suspended.
Yeah, that's what happened to Ridley.
Yeah.
He wasn't betting on football.
Yeah, no, it was college football was Ridley's thing.
Yeah. You know, so, but they don't want you to bet. Yeah, you know, although it's so readily available now.
Well, this is the thing. Everyone's I mean, I get sponsorship money all the time for like betting providers, but it's like the money is so readily available and sponsors tied to the individual leagues that, you know, it's getting harder and harder for the leagues to like kind of say with one face that this is all above board because, I mean, the NFL has no shame, so they'll just say, well, it's because we say so. But realistically, the leagues themselves took the money and are now trying to still say that they carry the high road of no. There's nothing going on that could impact the integrity of the game. Because that's what got Rudy Gobert fined the $100,000 by Adam Silver a week ago because of his implication that the refs were on the take for some of these games with the calls that they're making.
Well, they're gonna come down on you for saying stuff like that now because they are very scared that maybe some of the refs are. So you're better off saying that the refs are dumb. Those are the undertake.
Yeah.
Just call them in confidence, say they're dumb, whatever. But please, don't say they undertake. It's not. They don't want to go there at all. But I don't know. Like I said, my biggest problem with this thing with Ohtani is how Major League Baseball is just trying to sweep it under the rug. That they not a $4 million debt and you not going to investigate anything?
Independent investigation.
Please, come on. You asking your neighbor to check on your kids? And they're living with you? That's basically what you're telling me here. Your kids doing shit and you're asking the neighbor to take a look at it. So, no, I just think it's a bad look.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad look.
So before I let you go, Callie, I'm gonna throw some win totals at you, and I want you to think of who the team might be that has the win total. So I'm gonna give you the win total and the I'll give you the league as well. So I'll give you the league as well. So I'll give you the win total and which league it is. All right. So here's your first team. 93.5 AL.
What is that?
93.5 wins in the AL. That's the over-under.
93.5 wins?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So basically, the win total, they're expecting it to be either over or under 94 wins. But which team do you think they have associated with?
93.5 wins. 93.5 wins. 93.5 wins. In the AL, you say?
Yeah, AL.
The Astros?
Close. It's actually the Yankees. The Astros are 92.5. The odds makers still have
wait
the...
Wait a minute.
I know.
Doing that might have been my fourth guess. They expecting the Yankees to win 93.5 games?
Yes, and that's why it's going to be so fun covering this team again this year, because Garrett Cole is missing at least a month and a half, probably most of the season, because everyone's being so optimistic, and the Yankees win total is still at 93.5. This is I'm sorry, this is one of the easiest under bets possible.
Dwayne, I'm telling you, that might have been my fourth or fifth team I would go to. Look, let me tell you something. All the Yankees could do this year is surprise me. They cannot disappoint me. That I'm sure of. They can surprise me. Because I have that bar so low that the most they can do is they cannot disappoint me. I know. They can't go lower than I think they're going to. We'll see. Give me another one.
Yeah, so the next team that we're going to look at, so from a win total perspective, we're gonna go to the NL, and the over-under is actually, Whoa, I can't even use that one because we've got. Actually, you know what? I will use this one because it's 3 teams, 2 of which I would have disagreed with entirely, but I'm curious that they were all pegged at the same level. So it's 81.5 in the NL.
81.5.
Yeah.
81.5. The Padres is one. It should be one.
Yep. Yep. That's one of the teams.
Yeah, the Padres. The Giants.
Wow. I'm starting to think you're cheating, Callie, but yes, that's 2.
No, I'm thinking about the team that I think is not gonna thing, and the Padres, the Giants. The other NL team that I think is gonna be somewhere over there. The Padres, the Giants. Let's say the Braves.
All right, so you missed there. The Braves are still expected to win over 100 games. So the Braves pick you were way off on. The Braves are still projected for 101 wins. So the Braves are up there in terms of win total. So you got 2 out of the 3. I did not expect the Giants to be that high up. For
the other one, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee was close. They're 77.5. The third team is the Mets.
Somebody is fucking with me, right?
I don't think the Mets are going to be that bad, Callie. I will say that. I don't think the Mets are going to be that bad.
You really think the Mets are going to win 77 games?
Well, the over/under is for 81.5, so I don't think they'll be that bad. I don't think they're going above 500. But I think the Mets are going to be close. I think they'll be close.
All right. Because I'm telling you, I am expecting a really bad year in New York this year with baseball. I'm telling you, I like I said, they cannot disappoint me. Because they can't be worse than I'm thinking. Because I don't see the pitching, and it's not like they have great hitters. I mean, don't forget, while they're telling me that the Yankees are going to win 83 games, don't forget, we still depend on Stanton. We still depending on guys like Stanton and oh my God, my favorite third baseman, I forget his name now. I'm going to remember when the season starts.
What? You don't believe in Donaldson? How can you not believe in Donaldson?
So it's unless these guys are gonna, unless Barry Bonds is gonna still have connections with that guy to send them over there, or I shouldn't say Barry Bonds, Jason Grimsley. Unless Jason Grimsley has still got connections with that guy and starts sending him over there, I don't know.
I think you're too harsh in general. I think.
Here's what I want to know. Here's what I know.
Well, at least
how much time are these guys gonna spend on the DL? That's the first thing you gotta find out.
Hey, they fired the conditioning folks, so it's like according to the Yankees, it's gonna be new and improved.
Okay. All right. Okay. Like I tell you, this is going to be a smooth season for me, because I ain't expecting nothing. Nothing. Okay? So when they go on their first 10-game win streak and everybody starts going rah, 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 I'm going to just be standing there at the bottom with the bucket for when the bottom falls out.
I'm just saying, this was one of the more straightforward, because I looked at it and I said, the Yankees still too high. So I'll give you another team. I'll give you another team because I saw this one and I just kind of shook my head because I just said it's too low. 84.5 in the AL.
84.5 in the AL. Who they have the Astros?
No, the Astros are 92.5. So we already did the Astros and the Yankees, but in the AL, 84.5.
I forgot we did that. 84.5. Who the Rays?
Yep, you got it. The Rays are at 84.5. The Blue Jays are 86.5, and the Orioles are 90.5. I'll be honest, I don't have issues with where the Blue Jays and the Orioles are. The Rays total is still way too low. To me, the projections where everyone, they bumped up the Yankees too high. The Yankees are going to get wins siphoned off of them. The question becomes, how much does the AL East beat on the out of division schedule? Because to me, in order for two wildcard teams to come out of the AL East, they got to do what they did last year and just feast on these other divisions, which I think they will. Because truth be told, the AL West is even worse than last year without Ohtani there. Like, the Angels weren't winning games anyway, but to me, the Mariners are fine, but I don't think they're any better than the AL East teams. And the Astros are 1 year older. To me, I think this is one where the AL East should be feasting on these out-of-division games, and they just got to survive within the division. It's the reason why, and I didn't mention Boston, but Boston's at 77.5, because they think they'll still be able to win enough games outside the division to be close to 500. Even though I think Boston is the clear worst team in the division, it's not like Boston's bad. I just think the AL East is so deep that it's the reason why the Yankees are going to catch their tail, try to win games, because I don't think the Yankees have enough depth, and because of Cole being down, this is going to get exposed to the pitching staff sooner than later.
Well, my thing is that, and right now, you actually gotta be hoping that Cole doesn't get more serious than it is now.
Oh, I don't expect Cole to pitch 150 innings this year. I think at best he pitches 100 innings. I think the Yankees will try to shut him down as long as possible. But to me, this is a Tanaka situation. He's going to need surgery at some point. The Yankees are just delaying the inevitable. But, because folks brought up the fact that, Cole went through this 7 years ago and he pitched the full season with rest. Yeah, that was 7 years ago.
7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You just said that, right?
Yeah. Okay. It's like in baseball years, that's a dog's age. You want to go off of something that happened 7 years? Come on. I couldn't believe it when I heard someone say that. I was like, the human body, the amount of aging you do in a professional athlete's career in 7 years, you crazy?
You know, I hear Michael Kay was saying, I think it was yesterday, he was saying that, how are we so sure that Cole is gonna, because, they were saying they think he might need Tommy John. How are they so sure that he's going to need Tommy John? Because, Tanaka pitched like that for years, and, he never got Tommy John. And I'm like, wait a minute. I hope you're not thinking that Cole is going to be like Tanaka. Because Tanaka had one good start in him every month. He would pitch, and he would just rip through people, and then for the rest of the month, he's giving up 5 in the first, and and whatever. I mean, you don't remember that.
Everyone remembers it, but except the Yankees, because they keep looking at a glass half full. But the Tanaka years were incredibly frustrating because you could tell he was hurt, and you knew basically within 2 innings whether or not he was going to be able to get through 6 innings because of the elbow. It wasn't that hard to see.
Yeah. So I don't know. You telling me that? Well, look, what happened? Hey, look. The guy, it's not like he hurt his arm or anything. He's telling you in spring training, okay, not the season, it's spring training, and he's telling you that between starts, he can't get his arm up. I don't know if you need to get run over by a bus to know that cannot be normal. That shit don't happen just like that. All of a sudden he's gonna notice that, and you don't think something is wrong. I mean, and the thing about it is that Cole is a workhorse. That's the problem I have. He's a workhorse. So when he starts complaining about that between starts his arm is feeling, he can't get his arm back where it's supposed. That's a problem. But we'll see.
Yeah. All right. One last thing before I let you go, because this total was so sad. But we're because they're still technically a Major League Baseball team, we got to talk about them. The Oakland A's. What do you think their win total is for this year?
25 games.
You see, you're not being professional. Like, these are professional athletes. All right.
God, let me tell you something. The A's, I don't know. What they got them at? 65 wins?
Oh, see, now you're being way too optimistic. But the A's are at 56.5 wins.
Oh my God! Look, I don't know. I don't know. That certainly is not Moneyball over there now. I tell you that.
Well, Billy B don't care. Like, Billy B's trying to run soccer teams. Like, the ownership has gutted the franchise even more. Even Billy Bean can't help you when you gut the franchise that much and want to pay nothing. I mean, basically, this whole thing is going towards trying to secure rights for Vegas. They're trying to deplete that roster. Like, Major League Baseball basically yelled at them to figure out, like, how you're going to find a new stadium to play in because Vegas isn't going to be ready for 3 years. And they still are struggling with that.
Yeah, but did you hear the thing? They showed a rendering of the stadium, and I don't know if it's a mistake, but they're showing an open stadium. How the hell are you going to play baseball in Las Vegas without a dome?
I can't wait. I can't wait for the A's management to go to Vegas. Think that they're going to have the same success the Raiders did when the Raider Nation will support that team no matter what. Like, the A's fans are over it at this point. If they think they're just going to get convert fans to just go to Vegas and watch a bad baseball team and a bad baseball management, this is going to be real interesting. That's all I have to say. It's like, it's different for the NHL because the arena's inside the casino. It's awesome being there, but the arena is literally attached to the casino. The Raiders Allegiant Stadium, where it's set up, it's right downtown. And again, yes, you'll get tourists, but the Raiders fans will travel. The A's fans are not going.
You're talking a different sport. You're talking football.
Yeah, it's much fewer games. It's much fewer games. Like the reason why hockey works with 82 is, again, it's attached to the stadium, and you're going for a night out, and you're having fun at the game. So it's a party atmosphere when you're watching the Golden Knights off the time. So like they do well from an attendance standpoint. But again, it's baseball and you're essentially looking at it for an outdoor say. This is a disaster. I can't wait. I can't wait.
How are you going to have an outdoor stadium in a place where when it's 100, it's cool? Come on. You can't play. Baseball is a summer game. Yeah. Some of it is played in April, and some of it is played late October. But you actually have to be, the late October thing is if you're relevant, which the A's is not. So you had to cut off that April shit. That October and early November nonsense.
Because they're saying that because of the way the roof design is going to work, it's still going to work, but
Dwayne, you cannot have in Las Vegas, you cannot have a stadium that's not a dome to play baseball. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. You know. We'll see. See what. All right.
Yep. Take it easy, Callie. We'll catch up some more with. Well, I know you aren't watching March Madness because of your disdain of what college basketball has devolved into, but we will.
Everybody's moping about Kentucky, but I don't know why that surprised them. When is the last time Kentucky won a big game?
Coach Cal's been going through it for a while now, and it's not getting any better. So
it's like about 5 years.
I mean, Anthony Davis ain't walking through that door right now, so that's all I'm gonna say.
No, that's the problem is this. He still wants to do it with the freshmen. And yes, he gets people to go to the NBA. But the problem is now, with the way the portal is and stuff, those freshmen, unless you get a bunch of Anthony Davis and Jordans coming in, these exceptional guys, and he's not getting that, he's going to get his ass kicked. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, the transfer portal was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to Calipari because essentially you're getting all these makeshift teams on the fly, but they've got some veteran. I wouldn't say veteran. It's like at least they got 1 or 2 years of experience, which is enough in college basketball to be seasoned these days. So
that's where he's having a problem. And I think he still thinks he can do that, and to get the freshmen from college and bring them up. But I don't think that shit is gonna work. He's already got people calling for his head. Like somebody say, maybe he should come out of coaching and go into being because he's a great recruiter. He can talk to people, so maybe he can run a franchise or something, but that, I think that ship has sailed with him on winning with those freshmen. I think come next year, don't look for nothing more than another early exit if he doesn't change the way he does things.
I doubt it. I said it before. He was never a great in-game coach. So now that he doesn't have the talent advantage, it's just going to get worse.
And he doesn't have it now. That's the problem. Because when you get that team with Cousins and Davis and them, I mean, those guys were like men among boys when he had those teams. But he's not getting those players now. He might be having some of those players, but when the other teams have packed their team with guys from the portal who has experience, they're killing them.
Yep.
They're killing them. That's his problem. His thing is an idea that has passed. And he better figure it out. We'll see. I know he got 1 more year. if he gets another year, if they don't start.
But I don't know about that. I already saw the big blue message. This is not good.
It's not.
After the year before too. Oh no. This is not gonna there's.
That loss last night was a kind of a tell, and that's the problem. It's not like they're running into the Michigan State or Duke or Arizona or whatever. They're getting beat by, Cinderella teams.
Yeah, no, I can't even call Oakland a mid-major because it's essentially it's one step below the mid-majors because it's like, yeah, they've been around forever, but they've won over the years, but it's not like, again, you're never gonna remember Oakland. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, no. Look, if he survives this year, he will be lucky. But if he loses again next year, and I don't see how he's getting out of the first round the way the thing is set up now, it's going to be tough. He might face another early exit again next year. So let's see how the noise gets, as the tournament goes on.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, take it easy, Kelly.
Okay. All
right, folks, that's going to do it for the show. Obviously, once again, I always say this, is that you should be gambling for entertainment purposes. If you're doing this and you're that emotionally invested and tied into the result of the game, probably should be seeking more immediate attention for other issues underlying. Not to speak as a professional, but realistically, there is no context whatsoever in life that you should be calling up student athletes, calling up coaches, players, demanding death threats, the nonsense. So it's and people will say it's gambling's fault. It's not gambling's fault. It's like anything else when it comes to video games or things that are of entertainment nature that you used to blame Quentin Tarantino movies. Realistically, this is an individual issue where folks got to be able to check themselves. No other way of saying about it, but it's actually starting to impact legislative decisions, which is a big deal. So again, not to speak as the moral high horse for folks, but gotta be easy, folks. If you're finding yourself getting way too sucked into certain results. So anyway, have a good one. We'll catch up more with baseball and the rest of March Madness as we roll on the next couple of weeks. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Fantasy Throwdown podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and all major outlets.